Have you been where the streets have no name? Yeah,
I have not, but I've been to Joshua Tree, and they have a lot of smoothies. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Are you ready for the earthquakes, Anthony?
Are you ready for the earthquakes?
Lay it on the stack of things that are going to destroy us in 2018.
Lay it on the stack of things.
Our rock opera is coming along nicely.
It's my job is to translate everything Jeff says into Hank Williams III fans.
Yeah,
so they can speak it.
Which based on our the data mining we've been doing is our most underserved audience.
Did I get that right with the football?
I
think he plays the recent version of it, but he didn't write it.
No, that's like 6-7 years ago, Hank Williams. Now
really? Who does it
Faith
now?
Hill or somebody.
Oh, good for Faith Hill.
Yeah.
I like Faith Hill.
Hank Williams has not been doing it for a long time.
I've been doing it for Faith Hill fans.
There you go.
I like a football, everybody. You
All
can
right.
tell.
New article in Quartz sent to us by Jeff
article in Quartz.
_Rose.
Just 15 minutes.
Just a whole episode of that. Oh God.
Jeff _Rose. The underscore.
The underscore.
The underscore is back.
Article in Quartz about a new hypothesis from scientists that leads them to believe that 2018 will be a devastating year of giant earthquakes around the world.
The scientists are basically Tommy Lee Jones, Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. All of the Hemsworths. Led by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
God, what is that guy's name? I've already forgot. Liev Schreiber. No, not Liev Schreiber. Who's the guy? Jeff, who's the guy
Schreiber is the guy.
In a geostorm.
Oh, it's 300.
300.
Yeah.
You know him.
Yeah, that guy. Because of the
Children
G.
of Men.
Because of the G.
Gerard Butler.
There you go.
The man from Gamer is what they call him.
The man from Gamer. His most famous role. His iconic star-making role in Gamer.
I'm glad that we've learned who Faith Hill and Gerard Butler are today.
Our
And
job
by
is
we,
done.
I mean me. Listen, I've been traveling. I've been out of the country for 11 days. Things have changed.
Yeah,
Pop culture's different now.
Yeah.
Gerard
Hank Williams isn't
Sorry,
doing
I was hanging out in a much more enlightened continent. And we just didn't worry about trifles like that over there.
Right. You got to get your head back
I got
in
so
America,
many new
dude.
pairs of sneakers. Anyway, go on.
So they say that 2018 is, man, this is so depressing to
Here's
even
what's
talk
up,
about.
though.
But if we don't die from nuclear apocalypse or whatever the hell else, some pandemic, it's going to be earthquakes.
Sure. Here's what's up, though. Every year I hear that it's the year for the big earthquakes.
Yeah, but this one is an article we're talking about right now.
Oh, okay. That's the difference.
Yeah.
When I saw my first article about how earthquakes were going to destroy us, Hank Williams III was singing the Ready for Some Football song. That's how long ago it was, Jeff.
Well, it makes a lot of sense.
Pop culture references that I know and I've always known. Every year, though, I do hear this. Why? What makes this year different?
This is a study made by Roger Bilham of the University of Colorado and Rebecca Bendick of University of Montana, together known as Bilham and Bendick.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have read the latest Bilham and Bendick, I think you'll
love it. The Adventures of Bilham and Bendick.
Yep. They studied every earthquake since 1900 and recorded more than...
two geologists that use their knowledge to solve crimes.
Bilham and Bendick.
Traveling the world, hopping, but they're living the hobo life, and they hop trains, and as they go through towns, they solve mysteries using geology.
Yeah, living on the rails, just looking at the earthquakes, I guess.
Well, Bendick, we certainly do have ourselves an idyllium of a pickle this time. I don't think we'll ever solve how this general store owner was murdered.
All right, can you put your can of bean back in my bindle?
Of course, but I'm saving half that bean for later.
All right, Bilham.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
I see. Right down there, the silt.
Oh.
By this man's wound.
Oh.
It's sedimentary.
Sedimentary silt? Well, that can only mean one thing.
Down by the river.
It was an earthquake that did it?
Yes. Clearly an earthquake. Wait a minute. I just have to ask you guys. Sedimentary silt, you just said, would come from a riverbed. So why wouldn't the murderer just be somebody down by wouldn't it be old Joe who lives down by the river and hated the general store owner?
Oh, Bilham, we have another simpleton on our hands.
Oh, Bendick, I wish that we could teach these small town people to understand science. And I also wish we could end this Great Depression.
I sure agree. I want some more of that can of bean.
Anyway, no, you idiot Rube. It was definitely an earthquake.
An earthquake, see?
Canceled after 13 seasons.
So they have recorded every earthquake since 1900, and they found that approximately 32 years there's an uptick.
They're 117 years old?
Yeah.
Vampire geologists?
Didn't I make that clear with the accent?
I feel like you
using?
buried the lead here.
No.
But never bury the geologists because they'll dig their way out and they'll find you.
It won't stop them.
You have to bury them with a wreath of garlic around their neck.
Right.
That's how you kill a geologist.
That they will climb out from the rubble of the earthquake, lest there be garlic around their heads.
So they've looked at all these earthquakes.
Every 32 years, there's an uptick in large earthquakes. So why? Why every 32 years? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The only factor that strongly correlates
is the singer of the Are You Ready for Some Football song changes.
You really got to...
Once every 32 years.
Hard on for Hank Williams
And it
tonight.
causes a catastrophic change in the tectonic plates.
Yeah.
Correlation is causation.
It turns out that earthquakes actually are ready for some football.
I don't know any line from that song except Are You Ready for Some Football?
That's the only line.
All right.
A Monday night party? I don't know. What is the thing that happens every 32 years? Well, they say the only factor that strongly correlates is a slight slowing of the Earth's rotation.
Due to what?
That just happens. Earth's rotation slows and then speeds up and slows and speeds up.
Every 32 years?
Yeah. It's on a cycle. So they say that they don't know why.
Okay.
But it's kind of like if you imagine the Earth as a sphere that has a molten core in the center, right?
Yeah.
And it's spinning around.
You don't have to imagine it. It is.
But you still have to imagine it.
Yeah. I mean, you have to conceptualize it, but you don't have to imagine it like it's fake.
I mean, I'm not going to point at it and show you.
It is a sphere with a molten core.
You still have to use your imagination.
We're not asking you to use that like an analogy. That is what the Earth is.
Right, but I can't like walk you down the street and then point at it.
Imagine if you will that automobiles have 4 wheels and engines.
Yeah. I mean, I can say that
Imagine if you will that we're speaking into microphones.
They do have to imagine that. They can't see it.
It's a thought experiment.
We're not actually speaking into microphones.
No.
We're in your brain.
Fooled you. Are you ready for some murder?
So if you had
I'm the voice inside your head.
Hank Williams told me to do it. But Hank Williams hasn't been on this river in 32 years.
The earthquake did it.
So the molten core in the center is liquid. If you're spinning, if you imagine spinning a cup or something, when you slow it down, the water is moving at a different rate.
Right.
So they think that the crust kind of sticks at a certain point, and that movement, when it slows down, makes it jars it and causes earthquakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like,
I can see it.
Yeah.
You think about swirling a glass.
Yeah.
And then you set the glass down. And if the liquid is still swirling,
it's moving at a faster rate than the glass is. Yeah. And so if you think that the Earth's crust is this series of, like puzzle pieces that are all stuck together.
Now that is an analogy. It's not a series of puzzle pieces. It's not a puzzle.
I mean, it is kind of a puzzle.
I mean, if we solve it, we do live forever. But it's not a puzzle.
And then if those pieces, were pushed from the inside, and it would cause, you can imagine, an earthquake.
Sure.
I think I've painted a very illustrative
I think so too.
image in people's heads.
I think you did a wonderful job.
Thank you. So they don't know that that's what's happening, but that's what
so they don't
that's what
know,
Bendick and Bilham are saying.
They don't know that it's what's happening. They don't know for sure it's going to happen. But they think that it's happening, and if they're correct, we will see an uptick in earthquakes.
Yeah, we have observed that to take place on this 32-year cycle, and the next 2018 is when it comes up, when we pay the piper.
2018? Because I hate saying that like January 1st, 2018 is the beginning of earthquake time, because that's not the way this works.
No. You got to wait till earthquake season.
Yeah.
It's
right after apple picking season.
Oh, it's so lovely to go out in earthquake season. Just feel like I love it when the leaves shake.
Yeah, and you can start to smell the fear in the air. You know, that fall smell
delightful.
of fear.
And you go into, they have the spices that normally aren't sold. You know, like you go into Starbucks and you get the terror spice latte.
Yeah.
Oh, it's delightful.
Terror spice, a blend of 7 secret spices, guaranteed to put you into a state of fear.
So they said instead of the average of about 15 to 20 large earthquakes globally, we will probably see 25 to 30 in 2018.
Okay.
Most of these earthquakes, of course, happen in unpopulated areas.
Because
But
earthquakes are they're pretty chill. Like they don't want to bother people.
most of the time, then you get your like dick earthquakes.
Yeah.
That will really...
What up? Are you ready for some earthquake?
Hate that guy.
Yeah. That's
yeah.
Hank Williams III you're talking about. He's country royalty.
I'm sorry. I'm
Hank
more of
Williams.
a Faith Hill guy. So they normally take place in areas that don't affect human life. And we can't predict where it'll happen. Like these guys aren't really that helpful. They're just saying it's going to happen more. Get ready.
Yeah.
So I have my earthquake kit.
Earthquakes are still, even though we understand them, they are incredibly hard to predict. There's such a different mix of factors that goes into them that we don't really, I don't know, we don't predict the weather 100% accurately. We don't predict, there's a lot of stuff we don't predict 100% accurately, but earthquakes are definitely one of those things where it's like, we have some data, but we can't just point to it.
Right.
No matter what Gerard Butler tells you in Geostorm.
Well, I think
Or Gamer,
having not
the greatest movie of all time.
right. Oh God, Gamer, so good. I'm not an expert on Geostorm, but wasn't that a whole confluence of things?
Now with Geostorm, the idea was we had satellites that controlled all of the weather, and somebody hacked those satellites, and Gerard Butler was the scientist who was up there fixing this. It was a bad movie.
Can I tell you something my friend pointed out, and he actually cut a trailer to make this point? Geostorm is exactly the same movie as Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah.
It's the same movie.
Yeah.
He, in fact, used all footage from Cloudy with a Chance of Meatball and used the audio track from Geostorm and cut a trailer, and it's amazing because
you gotta
it's
put
the
that in
same
the show
fucking
description.
movie. I will.
You got to put that in the show description.
He's brilliant.
Fewer meatballs.
I mean, I don't know. Gerard Butler. He's a one spicy meatball.
He's a one spicy meatball. All right, Gamer, am I right?
Woo! So,
Are you ready for some Butler?
are you scared of? I'm terrified of earthquakes.
My wife
Anthony.
is terrified of earthquakes.
I'm legit. Now that I'm a homeowner, especially, and have a child, and there hasn't been one in LA for so long.
Do you know? I think I'm not terrified. I'm not terrified of them because I haven't been in a big one. You grew up in California.
I did.
Jessica, my wife, grew up in California.
I lived through the '89 quake.
So did Jessica, and
Yeah.
she was in the Bay Area when it happened.
So was I.
So, you know, it's very real to the two of you in a way that it's probably not real to me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I've lived through a lot of big a lot of big hurricanes.
Right.
And while those are intense and scary, like I was not terrified that the next earthquake was going to come or the next hurricane was going to come. I just sort of was like, well, this is the natural world. Of course a hurricane is going to come. I just don't fear that stuff. I guess you prepare as much as you can.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, like I said, we finally got our earthquake kit together. It's one of those things they always put off and say, "Oh, I'll get my earthquake kit tomorrow or next week or whatever." And we finally did it. So at least I feel a little better about that. But man, you see some of these statistics. Like in this article, they talk about how in Haiti, 7.0 in 2010 killed more than 100,000 people.
Yeah.
In Japan in 2011, that 9.0 earthquake you probably remember killed 18,000 people.
Yeah,
and that's
9.0, that's the one that caused like the tidal waves and the
tsunamis.
Fukushima.
Yeah. 9.0 is about 1,000 times more energy than a 7.0.
Yeah, logarithmic scales, you guys.
Scary.
That's the other thing about earthquakes is I think it's a logarithmic. That's what it's called, right? Where it goes up exponentially like that.
Yep.
But people tend to think that like a 2 is just higher than a 1 and a 3 is higher than a 2. And it's like, no, it gets insane.
Exponentially higher.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess it's one of those things where we should be particularly worried because we are where it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because we got that fault line, baby.
It's so easy to just live in cognitive dissonance and say, I'm not.
But there's nothing you can do about that. When it comes to natural disasters, it's not cognitive dissonance, I think, as much as it is just like there isn't anything you can do.
I guess.
You can
there are things you can prepare for.
Sure, but you can't stop the earthquake from coming. And if
we can get that,
and if the earthquake opens up the hole under your house, there's nothing you can do about that.
I think what we've learned though is that if we just stop the Earth from rotating.
Sure. If we have a series of satellites, each one connected to a different type of pasta.
Yes, I like this idea.
I have never seen Geostorm or Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
What about a Superman who just flies the opposite direction of the Earth?
No, because that would cause us to go back in time.
Oh.
As long as he went all the way back and killed baby Hitler and then went forward. But you never know what that's going to do.
Yeah, it's like a butterfly
You
baby
can't-
Hitler effect.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher taught me about that.
Mhm.
You can't mess with the time stream. You cannot change the fault lines. Are you ready for some football?
I think that's the question is everybody in their own way should get as ready as they can for some football.
Some football. 'Tis the season.
Listen to the sage words of Hank Williams III.
Or Faith Hill. Or was it Charlie Daniels who did the first one? Who did the first one?
I don't know.
Thought you liked football.
I wasn't ready for your questions.
You got to be ready for my questions. Guys,
Just so everybody out there, get ready for some football. And by football, we mean earthquakes. And by earthquakes, we mean, fuck, we're fucked.
yeah, so how do you feel about this? What natural disaster? Every part of the earth sort of has its own natural disaster that the inhabitants of that part of the earth are ready for.
Yeah.
I was never afraid of hurricanes because hurricanes come. And I was never afraid of snowstorms in New York because it's like, snowstorms come.
Right.
And everybody's very blasé about their own sort of regional
That's true.
apocalyptical sort of thing. Let us know what your region...
Everybody has a regional apocalypse.
Everybody has a regional apocalypse that they don't care about. Let us know what yours is in your part of the world and if you're prepared for it. And if you know who the original singer of Are You Ready for Some Football is.
Yeah.
And you can hashtag those Geostorm because that movie is over and dead and
Nobody's
nobody cares.
using that hashtag.
I'm at a Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
And if you have a story like this or you want to discuss today's episode with fellow concerned citizens, you can head to the Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/wehaveconcerns, or to the subreddit wehaveconcerns.reddit.com.